American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Pervis, and this is American football in Finland. Forgot to record yesterday. Had a little scheduling issue. Q and Chris couldn't make it, so you're gonna have to listen to me by my own some today. I actually just recorded the podcast for Sweden, for Pro Football Sweden, and I had a little time, so I was like, let me just knock this out for you guys so y'all have something to chew on before we get into the games this week. Uh, Intro. The AFF podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast, and you can see us visually here on YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to subscribe, follow, and like us. Oh, that reminds me, we're back on Spotify. Did a little work earlier today. Got the account set back up. Apparently, I had stopped updating it or something. So now, if you don't want to see me, you just want to hear me, go to Spotify, American Football in Finland. It's on there. All the episodes updated. This one will be on there sometime tomorrow, whenever I get to editing and uploading this one. And again, if you listen or watch, but don't hit the like or subscribe button, you're a hater. But that's cool. We know we got those. Ain't worry about it. Get on with the show. First down, we get a chance to start fresh and discuss whatever is on our minds. For me, what's on my mind? Midsummer was good. The weather was good on what day was it? Friday, weather was good for Johannes. Saturday, a lot of rain and stuff like that. Me and my family, we go to the summer crib with my daughter and, play games and eat makara or what else? What did we eat? I forget what we eat, but we ate food. I think I ate pork actually. But anyways, I hope everybody else had a good midsummer, and I hope people are rejuvenated and ready to get back to football. For me, it was a weekend of not watching football for the first time in last 2 months because I've been watching the Swedish season, and I took a break. What I've done is I think is interesting, and maybe the world might want to know too, is I spent the last week watching all the Mission Impossibles. I watched 1 through 7 on Netflix, and now I need to watch number 8 because after watching the last one, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my series, and now I have to go to the movies to watch number 8. So not this weekend. Well, actually, yeah, this game's weekends. I'm gonna try to make some time to go to Finkino, watch Mission Impossible 8, maybe even do a review or something on the next show when I get Q and Chris back next week. So yeah, that's first down for me. All righty. So we're not doing all the other segments. We're jumping straight into weekend matchups. Maple League teams are back in action. This week, there should be only 3 games. So we're back on Friday with the Helsinki Roosters versus Kuopio Steelers. And then Saturday, there's a doubleheader. Wausau Royals versus Helsinki Wolverines is the early game, followed by Tampa Saints and East City Giants for the primetime game. So I'll try to spend a little bit of time. Again, I'm going to try to, give you a good 20 minutes of this so you can have something to talk about. First game, Helsinki Roosters versus Kuopio Steelers. Storyline / question. I guess for me, it's a storyline of question in this matchup would be I would go with contender or pretender because I feel like both of these are teams that we thought highly of going into the season. I think we had the Roosters at 2, Steelers at 3, so we thought they were going to be good. First week, Steelers take an L to the Butchers. Second week, Roosters take an L to the Royals of all teams. And now going into this game, they both had a little time off to reset and adjust and see, what do they need to do to be competitive in this game against another quality team. But really, I think we're going to find out which one of these teams is, getting better and which one is still finding themselves. And again, if a team is still finding themselves in week 3 after a bye week, we're going to start calling you a pretender. We're going to say that, hey, you just don't got it. While this other team, if you are able to compete, find yourselves after the break, okay, we know you're trending upwards, even though both teams are going to have at least one loss after this. Whoever really wins this game is going to have the upper hand in having that 2 or maybe 1 seed later on in the season. It's going to be one of those situations. I think they're in different divisions, so this is the only time they play each other. Or am I wrong? Right? It's Scorpio and Butchers in the same division. Yeah. So they're in different divisions. So this is a one-off. You get to play each other one time, week 3. What happens, happens. And if one team wins, it might come back that might be a tiebreaker later on in the season. Or if another team loses, it might be what keeps them out of the playoffs. Like, that's how important this game is. And it's unfortunate that both teams already have a loss when they play this game because there's not a lot of room for error. And I think that you really have to be careful about how much you show in this game, but also try to prove and progress that you're getting better as the season goes along. Key matchup in this game, I would say, based off what I said last time that I talked on here, is I want to see the Roosters O-line versus the Steelers D-line. And the reason I want to see this is I don't think the Roosters O-line was as good as I thought it was. I think that it can be better. I think they're going to have to make some adjustments. I don't think they need to maybe get rid of players or anything, but I do think they need to strategize how they're going to block certain schemes and certain plays a little bit differently to make up for some of the weaknesses that they might have in either player personnel or just skill and ability. But I think that the Steelers' defensive line is good. It's going to be able to get to the ball. I think they're aggressive, but I think they're a good matchup for the Roosters to actually figure out, is our O-line an issue, or was it more like a fluke, like what Coach Q said against the Royals, where, we just didn't show up. And again, the Roosters are at home in this game, so they're going to be in a comfortable environment. They're not going to be playing on grass. They'll be playing on that horrible velo turf that only the Roosters love to play on. I guess the Wolverines like to play on it, but the Roosters must love to play on it. And they're comfortable and they practice on it sometimes to get ready for the games. So there'll be a little bit of an advantage on their side for that. But the matchup, I think, would be Steelers D-line versus Roosters O-line. And then interesting aspect. I always like to go with the jerseys and the color scheme. The amount of red, white, and black in this game. I guess if the Roosters are home, they'll be wearing red, but they have a lot of white in their uniforms anyways. Even when they're home, their red jerseys, there's just a lot of white in there somehow in the design and stuff. So you're going to see a lot of red and white. While on the other side, the Steelers, they're going to be wearing probably white on white, which I love their jerseys. So if it's white on white, I'm going to enjoy watching them. But it's a lot of white on the field, and they also have red and black on there. They have accents. Hopefully not too much red so that there's not too much clash. But again, there's red helmets and black helmets, so that makes it much easier to see the players. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with for interesting aspect. Saturday, early game. Wausau Royals versus Helsinki Wolverines. Storyline or question? I would say in this game, I don't have any questions or storylines for the Royals. They're coming off a good upset win, looking like a good team. I don't know if y'all saw the rankings, but I think we put them in 3rd place now, showing a little bit of respect to that team. They out here getting wins the way you're supposed to. Well, I'm say the way you're supposed to, but they're winning games, and a win is a win, and I respect that. Now, the Helsinki Wolverines, I feel like they showed improvements, but I don't know if that's going to work in this game. I think with Wassa's whole hey, we're just going to play good defense, and hopefully our offense doesn't turn over the ball. I think Wolverines have a good enough defense to hold the Royals. So I think we're looking at another game where it's going to be low scoring like what they did against the Roosters. Except I think that the Royals offense might actually put up points. I don't know how to feel about it. Storyline question. Uh, I don't know how to feel about this one because I feel like the Royals are the better team, but they still don't necessarily have a good enough offense to score points. But their defense might actually score points in this game. I think the Wolverines have enough mistakes on offense that they could actually turn the ball over against this team enough that the Royals score a couple touchdowns instead of just one on a pick six. So storyline or question is, how many points can the Royals score? 20, maybe? I give you 20 points. I think they can score 20 in this game. Key matchup. I'm going to go back into the trenches. I want to see the Royals O line versus the Wolverines D line. Now, the Wolverines D line with Tyron Dixon, and then also bring in Alvin Reels up front, and then Heikkinen on the edge. They have a decent D line. Wolverines defense is pretty good up front, but the Royals, brought in two Americans on their O line, and they're gonna run the ball. Their quarterback is probably gonna throw a pick on his first pass, like he's done the last two games. So they're gonna run the ball, and Swosty is gonna be part of that offense. That's gonna dictate how the game goes. If the Royals can just walk it downfield by running it, they'll just run it down the field the whole time and just do a couple of jet sweeps to their import receivers on the edge and score points. But if the Wolverines defense, especially Tyron Dixon, if he's able to, him and Heikkinen, if they're able to like make some pressure, penetrate, and make a couple tackle for losses and force the Royals to pass the ball, they're going to put their team in this game, keep the score low, and it's going to come down to big plays to decide who wins. So that's definitely the key matchup for me is the Royals offensive line versus the Wolverines defensive line. Interesting aspect. I don't want to go jerseys again because I feel like who really cares about these two teams' jerseys? Royals have a good blue home jersey and Wolverines white away jersey. Yeah, I wish they would bring back the goals. I miss those gold uniforms. But an interesting aspect. There's not a lot of history between these two teams. Not any bad blood or anything. This is a cross division game, so that's going to be interesting. Vasa is a long way away from Helsinki, so it's a travel game for the Wolverines. And that is probably an interesting aspect is how many Wolverines players, show up and play in this game. It is a Saturday game, but it's an early Saturday game. Traveling could be an issue for some of the players. It's a weekend game, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. But I do want to see, does their roster travel? Because if their roster travels, then that's a good sign that this team is bought in on whatever they plan to get done this season. And I really hope that that's the case for them. Yeah, so that's that game. All right. Last game of the weekend. Let me see. Tampa the Saints versus East City Giants. Storyline or question in this one. Somebody has to win. I guess that's really the storyline or question, right? Because both of these teams have not done great so far. But also they're both, moving up from Division One. They obviously are familiar with each other. They played each other a couple times. The two games I've seen both of them play last year, they played against each other. But these are two different teams. And going into this game is who has the advantage in the Maple League. We're forgetting about Division One. Who's the better Maple League team this year? You're going to find out in this game. Key matchup. I think they're all key matchups. Let's say if I'm really gonna go into it, I want to go. I feel like key matchups both sides, like offense, defensive line, both teams, linebacker core, running back, both teams, receiver, DB, both teams. Like these teams look very similar to me. Obviously, there's different players, different personnel, but they have the same issues and they have the same strengths, I think, which makes it hard to decide like where's the key matchup. I want to see how Jesse Robbins does against this East City Giants defensive backfield. I want to see how he manipulates them. But I also want to see, do ECG get any pressure against this offensive line? And then I also want to see which one of these finished running backs runs better, or do we see the Spanish guy from the Saints this week? I don't know. You never know who you're going to see out there. And then on the other side, is East City Giants going to come out and have some type of actual passing attack that's effective outside of just handing the ball off to Blumquist? Which leads into the interesting aspect of this game. Welcome back, Jabari Harris, to the East City Giants as a receiver. I think they just posted that today, actually, that he's going to be playing receiver for them. Matchup-wise, I think that doesn't make them have a number one receiver still. East City Giants are still going to be missing a number one receiver. I think Jabari is going to be a great addition to the offense, but he doesn't necessarily oh my God, now they have five. To be seen if he's going to be efficient or effective out there for them against this Saints defense. There's a lot in the air in this game, and I feel like as well as I know both teams going from Division I, in the Maple League, these teams are still finding themselves. So it's really hard to say what's going to be the key differentiator. I think when I'm watching this game, I'm definitely looking at both offenses and seeing which offense is utilizing their running back to move the ball, and then which one of them is putting their offense in a position for easy completions. I think both teams lack a standout number one receiver, so it means you have to scheme your players to get open. And so far, neither team has really been able to do that, not consistently enough anyways, especially from the East City Giants side where they've had some chances and just didn't execute. Now, from the Saints side, I haven't seen a lot of chances. I haven't seen a lot of situations where players are open or where someone just, drop passes is a difference. I've seen a lot of Jesse Robbins running for his life, trying to make a play, and then not finding anybody because nobody's open. And for ECA Giants, I feel like they have a little bit better of a personnel when it comes to their passing game. But again, both of them aren't executing enough to actually make an impact. So I'm excited to see who shows me, okay, we've been working in the offseason. I mean, not in the offseason, but over the midsummer break, and we're going to, make some plays here in a second. That's all I got. My light went off. Sorry. But, yeah, that's what I got. All right. That's it for this abbreviated American Football in Finland episode because it's just me. I don't do nearly as well when I don't have anybody's ideas to bounce off, but I gave you a little bit to chew on for these games coming up this week. You can catch our picks on our social media channels at American Football in Finland. Last words before we go. If anybody wants to know what jersey I'm wearing, that would be the Ormatilla Stallions flag football team from the Turkey Bowl, the longest tenured Turkey Bowl flag football team in Finland. Shout out to those guys. They tried to bribe me last year with a jersey. It might have helped them, actually. I think they ended up winning the game for the first time, so that's pretty cool. Outside of that, this was interesting. I'm not going to say fun, but this was interesting to do this by myself for the first time in a few years. So I guess we got games this weekend. Good luck to all the teams. And you can catch us again next week after the games right here on the AFF podcast. Make sure to subscribe, follow, like, and share on all social channels at American Football in Finland. Until next time, never forget TIF. We gone.